ARPG, hack and slash RPG, or Diablo-like. Diablo popularized the term action RPG, but that subgenre can be vague these days. So what do we call these kind of games now? Whatever it should be. There are some amazing ones on the way, but will any hold a candle to the darkness that is Diablo? Let's find out, and welcome to the most anticipated ARPGs in 2024. Entering the Dungeon, Heroes of the Ashenwatch. This is a challenging co-op action RPG where up to 5 players team up to defeat the hordes of evil. The key thing here is dynamic cooperative play, where you engage in thrilling cooperative action, and it's promising no grind all thrill, which is a very big promise, especially in these kinds of games. So we'll see if they can deliver on that. There's supposed to be a handcrafted narrative world, unique heroes. It is of course top-down isometric camera, epic battles aplenty, high replayability, holy relics and perks as you progress through the world, and you can explore unique realms, traversing a multitude of distinct locations. So this one seems to have all the trappings of a Diablo-like ARPG, and it's pretty good looking, generally speaking, so there seems to be a lot of promise here. Having said that, right now release is just set for coming soon, and it is supposed to be releasing into early access first, with up to 1 year in early access. So we're probably looking at likely a 2024 early access release, and then 2025 for a full release for Heroes of the Ashenwatch. And then for just one pixel art ARPG, Drova Forsaken Kin. Now I know pixel art is probably not your favorite art style for these kind of games, but this one looks pretty good. It's an action RPG that marries the dark, grim tones of this genre with the mysticism of Celtic mythology. You encounter a society where ancient restless spirits and divided factions battle for dominance. You uncover forgotten abilities and unravel the secrets of a past shrouded in mystery. Personally, I love pixel art, and the way they've executed it here is very nice. Though I know it's not everyone's favorite art style, it is one of mine. In this game, you'll be choosing to join one of 2 factions, so you gotta pick a side, and you master the flow of battle. You fulfill tasks, trade, gather, and craft equipment, starting with pretty much nothing, but as you study your environment and use surrounding clues to reveal mysteries, you grow stronger. There's free navigation in a dynamic handcrafted world. The combat is flow-based, with combos and various weapons to use. There's a tailored story with choices and dialogue, and generally it's not really like much else on this list. Release is supposed to be in 2024, but at the time of recording there is a free demo. So if you're not too sure about the game or the art style, then you can just go ahead and try the free demo for Drova Forsaken Kin and see if it's one that you want to be waiting for in the new year. And then for an indie one, Apoth. This is a real-time dungeon crawler with rogue-lite elements. You venture to the town of Apoth, where many adventures await you. You delve through randomly generated dungeons, sewers, caves, crypts, and temples. It has to be said right at the start that this one does look a little bit indie, and the visuals do, at the moment, feel rather dated. But that doesn't mean that it's gonna be a lackluster game. So the dungeons you delve into are supposed to be randomized, there's hundreds of different monsters to defeat, thousands of different items to loot, there's punishing traps, crafting of potions, armor, weapons, and jewelry, and a classless system with hundreds of different skills to use. Good news is there is a free demo for this one as well. So I know a short look like this with the trailer footage can leave you a little bit skeptical, but that's what the free demo is for. If you are at all intrigued with Apoth, then you can just try the free demo, and you can see for yourself whether it's delivering on its own promises. And then we have Svarog's Dream. You awaken as a soul from the underworld. You discover who you are and explore an ever-changing open world full of mystery. You fight the beasts and gods or ally with them. Die and be reborn as you progress through your adventure. So this one is technically a late 2023 release. It's currently set for a 4th of December 2023 release, but it's so late in the year, and I haven't mentioned it before, so I just want to tell you about it now, because basically you're gonna do most of your playing in 2024. There's supposed to be an ever-changing world. You're a soul lost between worlds, and generally you are a tiny pawn in the game of gods. But there are going to be hundreds of quests, more than 100 unique abilities, and over 500 unique items. There's also some survival elements where you have to eat, cook, sleep, craft potions, upgrade gear, buy houses, take loans, and even evade debt collectors or headhunters. Because, maybe you can't quite afford to pay back the money you borrowed. So Svarog's dream is supposed to be this living world for you to kind of exist in. And it does seem very interesting, but there's a lot of promises being made. Well, I suppose we don't have to wait too long to see if this game will deliver, unless it gets delayed, which sometimes happens. Just so you know, I sometimes mention late year, particularly December release games, as I'm making these upcoming games list videos, because so many get delayed. Sometimes just days before release, they get delayed. In the CRPG list, I listed the Thaumaturge because it was a December 2023 release, and it just got delayed into 2024, so it's a 2024 game now. Will Svarog's Dream be a December 2023 game, or will it be a 2024 game? Who knows? None of us have a crystal ball, but I try my best. But yeah, if this one looks interesting, go check out Svarog's Dream. Hey, now that you're a bit into the list, I'm sure you're enjoying it, so it would be greatly appreciated if you can like the video. Thank you. Alright, next game. Last Epoch. You uncover the past, reforge the future, and ascend into one of 15 mastery classes, and explore dangerous dungeons, hunt epic loot, craft legendary weapons, and wield the power of over 100 transformative skill trees. So this one, I have to mention that it's been in early access for a long time, and I don't typically mention early access games that have been in early access for so long. For reference, it's been in early access since 2019. But it is saying that it's going to be a full release on February 21st, 2024. So although this has been in early access for basically 5 years, half a decade, it is going into full release early 2024. And it is a very popular game with over 20,000 user reviews on Steam at 84% positive. So I think a lot of you are going to be interested in this one. And maybe quite a few of you have tried this game in early access in the past at some point, and you've been waiting for full release. Well, full release is upon us for Last Epoch, but I'm not going to get too much into this one because generally we know what this is at this point. I just thought I'd let you know that it is releasing for reals. Next up, Shades of Rayna. This is a free-to-play and early access ARPG with lots of loot and endless gameplay. Well, that's what it's saying it is anyway. You play as Princess Enya of Kingdom Rayna, and you've got a fantastical bow with various powerful powers. There's 10 different maps, 50 different mobs, unique dragon boss fights, an endgame boss, fast-paced combat with dodging, stat, skill, and gear upgrade systems, and all that good stuff that we've come to know and love of these isometric ARPGs. So Shades of Rayna has been in early access since about the middle of 2021. So it's been a couple years, with few but mostly positive user reviews on Steam. And of course I know user reviews aren't the be-all and end-all of whether a game is good or bad, but mostly positive is a decent enough score. However, being in early access for 2 years is kind of a little bit past their initial estimate of 6 months in early access. So there's no telling how long Shades of Rayna is going to stay in early access. However, it's a free-to-play game, so, you can just try it and see if you like it, but if not, you can just move on. But I thought it was worth a mention. So there you go, that's Shades of Rayna. For a much more indie-looking ARPG, Arcane Revolt. Lead a revolution as a powerful mage against tyrants in a fantasy medieval world. You customize spells and make decisions that will benefit your cause in battle. Improve your spells, start a rebellion, and you need to bring down the Order. This is all about being a powerful mage rising up against tyrants, and there's different magic trees where you can customize your spells according to your preferred playstyle. You can improve your spells to gain an advantage over enemies. There's a lot of freedom of choice with dialogue and story decisions, and you can control your character's thoughts and actions for unique consequences. And you are the leader of a revolution, freeing your people from being slaves and suffering cruel exploitation, as you show the Wizard Guild the way to free your people and break the chains. So story-wise, this seems a lot more RPG than many other Diablo-like hack-and-slash action RPGs, but it is still pretty much an action hack-and-slash game with plenty of combat. The release is set for some time in 2024, but it is an indie development, so sometimes these things take longer than expected. But for now, Arcane Revolt is set for 2024, and you can keep an eye on it if it's caught your eye. And then we have Rules of Alchemy. Defy fate as you blast your way through a procedural open world in this spell combo rogue-like with thousands of items and hundreds of spells. These games, they're always bragging about the number of things in them. How many monsters, how many spells, how many items, how many artifacts, how many skills. That is sort of what this genre is about, but also more isn't always better. Having said that, this one does seem to have a lot of promise, including branching dialogue with real rewards and consequences to your choices, a unique spell casting and combo system, and for those of you who like the roguelite or roguelike elements, then that's available as well. I have to say that visually it does look a little bit older school, and it is more of an indie development, so that is to be expected. But if the gameplay holds up, then it's actually not that bad looking. Good news is, Rules of Alchemy is another one that has a free demo. I love that free demos are just a thing nowadays, so if you're ever not too quite sure about a game, then just try the demo. It has been in development for a while. The trailer itself says 2021 offering the demo, so it's been sort of there for a few years now, but it is supposed to release in 2024, so you can try the demo and then keep an eye on Rules of Alchemy. And of course, the one that you've all been waiting for me to mention, Path of Exile 2. Path of Exile is the Diablo competitor which really took off. There's been many attempts to take on the Diablo formula, and Path of Exile is probably the most successful so far, and they are building up towards Path of Exile 2. This is promising to be the next generation of action RPG. Set years after the original Path of Exile, you'll be returning to this dark world and seeking to end the corruption that is spreading. So Path of Exile 2 is continuing to be a free-to-play online multiplayer game with co-op for up to 6 players, and we've been waiting for this for quite some time now. Promising a new campaign with 6 acts, 100 different environments, 600 monsters and 100 bosses, 12 character classes, a new skill gem system with 240 skill gems that grant devastating active skills, and 200 support gems that modify their behavior. You can also dual specialize your passive skill tree, all new items, a whole new endgame, and so much more. There's just so much to this continuation of Path of Exile that it's impossible to talk about every single thing. But I think if you're already a Path of Exile fan, then you kinda know about it. And if you haven't tried Path of Exile and you're looking for something after Diablo 4, you can try Path of Exile right now. The reason why this is listed today is because the closed beta for Path of Exile 2 is set for June 7th, 2024. So it's gonna become playable to some of you the middle of 2024, and that's gonna be very exciting, seeing it become way more playable and likely build up to release shortly after that. So there's a lot to look forward to here, but there is one more thing that we can play while we wait for Path of Exile 2. As a bonus game, I'm gonna mention Grim Dawn. So yeah, okay, Grim Dawn released in 2016. It's not an upcoming game. So why am I mentioning it today? Because of a new upcoming expansion called Fangs of Asterkarn. And Grim Dawn being such a popular and famous game in this genre, I think you'd want to know if you haven't heard. Now, Grim Dawn is an apocalyptic fantasy world where humanity is on the brink of extinction. Iron is valued above gold, and trust is hard to earn. There's complex character development, hundreds of unique items, crafting and quests with choices and consequences, and all the great trappings of a hack-and-slash Diablo-like ARPG. Now, the game itself is very well received, with 93% positive user ratings on Steam, with over 70,000 user reviews, so people love this game. And the new Fangs of Asterkarn expansion was recently announced, building on the foundation of the more recent big updates. Fangs of Asterkarn is gonna be a huge addition to the world. You'll be trekking across glorious snowy peaks, delving into frozen caverns, and exploring ancient forest valleys and hot springs as you seek to purge the corruption tainting the idyllic landscape. Now, they're not increasing the level cap or the devotion cap, but there's going to be a new Conquer the Ascendant game mode, potion customization. You can re-roll your rare and magic items. The Crucible is expanded. The Shattered Realm grows. There's new items. There's new enemies. And new rogue-like dungeons. So if you're a current player of Grim Dawn, you have a lot to look forward to in 2024. And if you haven't played Grim Dawn, then now might be a good time to jump into it before the new big expansion releases. Either way, despite it being an older game, it's gonna be pretty much updated for 2024, so I thought you should know. There you have it. Press the like button and get games using the GOG referral link below to support videos like this one. Click the link and buy any game. It really does help. Thank you to all the patrons and YouTube members who really support this channel and keeping videos like these being made. Join if you want your name on future videos. If you want to stay in the know for another genre, go to the next list video linked on the screen, because I'm sure ARPG fans like yourself would want to see all the RPGs I've covered. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you there.